Today I will take you to a spinach field. This is a drone image of the biggest spinach demo location in the world. And you see many different shades of green. These are all different hybrids. The darker ones are for the fresh market, and the lighter ones are more for the processing industry, so the frozen spinach. This field is really nice and beautiful, but not all spinach fields look like this. Even in this picture, there's a few plots that are not that nice. So let's zoom in to such a plot. This picture is taken 16 days after sowing. Sowing was in September. You see a ring in the picture, and that's thrown in the field to do plant counts. You can throw in this field in many areas in the trial and do plant counts later behind the desk with a nice cup of coffee, for example. But what more do we see? We see some spinach plants still okay, but we see that more than half of the plants did not survive. Dead plants are lying around and their bodies already disintegrating. What caused their death? So let's investigate. Do a sort of a crime scene investigation. I'm on this site at exactly the right time. I can still see the dead plants. The remains are not completely disintegrated. I even see a few plants that have recently collapsed, so I can take these victims to the lab for analysis. If I would visit this scene 1 week later, no remains would be found. Even in this picture, there's a few gaps, and that's maybe where some seedlings never reached the surface. They died before they reached the surface. Such a crime scene does occur on a regular basis in spinach fields. And the usual suspect in this kind of situations is Pythium. In fact, every time there's a poor field emergence in spinach, Pythium is named as the key suspect. And in fact, when I take these diseased plants to the lab or take soil samples, there's a high likelihood that I will find Pythium. It may also be Fusarium or Rhizoctonia, because they can also cause such collapses. And they can even work together with Pythium for a more devastating effect. This field scene might have a high disease level, and that can be a result of previous crop. And the previous crop effect can be really significant. This field is sown in one go from front to back with exactly the same seeds, same everything. But still there's a difference. In the back you see green spinach plants, and in front you hardly see any spinach. And the only difference here is the previous crop impacting disease level. So despite high disease levels in fields, it can still be possible to produce nice spinach. So at one sowing date, you might have a perfect yield, and at another sowing date, you might have not so perfect yield. So there must be more suspects or other culprits. Pythium is an opportunistic pathogen. It attacks when the plant is weak. So maybe it's not the only suspect, maybe it got help. Overwatering can be a culprit here. Spinach is really sensitive to high moisture levels, especially in the topsoil, and mostly during warm and hot days. This is a simple example to visualize the effect of high moisture levels. On the left, you see spinach seeds that have been exposed to a high moisture level, and there's hardly any germination. From left to right, moisture level decreases and germination increases. So the white column has the best germination and the lowest moisture level. So spinach is really sensitive to high moisture levels. And OMI seeds, like Pythium, prefer wet soils. So these are ideal partners in crime. Growers, the right irrigation strategies can be really important for field emergence. And growers can be consulted as experts in such forensic investigations. So during one of my field visits, a grower showed me the devastating effect of overlapping irrigation. So when sprinklers cover the same area in the field twice, germination really drops. And the rest of the field may still look nice. This grower also told me he decided to stop irrigating right after sowing. So now he sows in moist soil and waits as long as possible before he comes back with irrigation again. And that really improved his field performance. Soil structure can be an accomplice here as well. It can increase the impact of overwatering or heavy rains. This is a picture of two adjacent plots in a trial in Germany. Everything is the same, only the sowing bed is different. And this trial was done by an external contractor. And when I received back the data, they didn't make sense to me at all. I couldn't make anything out of them. So I checked all the 200 pictures of this trial to see what was really happening in the field. The explanation, soil structure. So the emergence was very much linked to the soil structure and not so much linked to the treatment, which I expected. In the left sowing bed, you see the best soil structure and the best emergence. The sowing bed on the right has some compacted soils, maybe there was some flooding, and there's hardly any plants emerged. Back to the crime scene. In this field, sowing bed, the soil structure or overwatering or previous crops were really not the issue. Other areas in the same trial looked nice, like this one, so there's quite a difference. So there must be other accomplices. Seed quality is also often named as the culprit. Our breeders, our seed production specialists, and the people working in the lab, in the seed quality lab, work hard to provide high-quality seeds. Seed quality is not the issue here. The seeds used in this field is exactly the same as in the crime scene we are looking at. Seed treatment also often blamed for poor field emergence or the lack of a seed treatment. And this is a nice example of what seed treatment can add to field performance. This trial was done in a field in Germany that's no longer used for commercial spinach production because of the many issues in the soil. So it's a perfect location to go to do a trial to test solutions. The middle two beds look nice. They have a seed treatment, a fungicide seed treatment, and the two outer beds do not look so nice. They do not have a seed treatment. So this is really a nice example of how effective a seed treatment can be. The actual objective of this trial was to see if biological soil applications could improve or simply replace the seed treatment. So biological soil applications were applied all over the field in randomized blocks, but unfortunately, none of these treatments provided any help. So you might think seed treatment solves all the problems, but it's not that easy. This trial taught me about the importance of another culprit, sowing debt. One day, after a long day of doing assessments in these trials, I walk back to the car to go home, and I see a trial next to mine. At least I see sticks indicating plots, but I hardly see any plants. There's an occasional spinach plant, but I really wonder what's the trial about and what the crop should be. And a few weeks later, I learn what happened. A competitor shows me a picture of this trial, my trial, and asks me what treatments I included. The trial next to mine with the occasional spinach plant was his. And he was also testing solutions for poor field emergence. And he did sow the seeds slightly deeper than usual to allow the pathogens ample opportunity to attack the seedlings. If you want to test solutions for a problem, you have to make sure that you have the problem you want to fix. And it's a bit of a balancing act because you never know up front what will happen in the trial. In this case, I was really lucky that the weather conditions right after sowing were absolutely awful. So the pathogens did not need more help. They got help from the heavy rains and the very high temperatures. So adding slightly deeper sowing in this trial did not result in any survivors, no matter what the treatment was that we applied. So there must be also other accomplices, maybe. Nutrients availability. In this field, the only difference between left and right is a seed treatment that enables the plants to take up nutrients. So they help the plants to become stronger and less susceptible for problems in the soil. They do not work against any pathogens. Back to the crime scene. I can rule out most suspects. So previous crop, overwatering, seed quality, sowing that, soil structure. But left is disease, in this case Pythium, and seed treatment. Based on the example I've shared before on the effect of a seed treatment, you might think that the left plot is without a seed treatment, and the right one is with a seed treatment. But in fact, it's the reverse. In this case, I tried a beneficial bacteria that usually boosts the plant's own defense mechanism. So it helps the plants to become stronger. But it may come at a cost first. Some of these treatments take some time to become effective, and Pythium attacks within hours. So in this case, this treatment was simply not fast enough to protect against the pathogen. It even weakened the seeds. The emergence was a bit slower in the treated ones. So it acted as an accomplice. It enabled the Pythium to cause havoc. I will not end with such a negative example. There's plenty of treatments out there that really do work. But the key is that they have to be applied together with strong hybrids, good quality seeds, and the correct crop management strategies. It's very much a team effort. When I started my studies in Wageningen, I wanted to do something with plants, and I wanted to become a plant breeder. But pretty soon after I started, I learned that plant breeding can really take a long time. And I just don't have the patience to become a plant breeder. So I skipped immediately. If you do have the patience to become a plant breeder, there's quite some options to become one. If you, like me, like to investigate what happens in the field and try to find solutions, there's interesting job opportunities in the seed business. There's many seed treatments candidates in development or already on the market. And the key is to find the ones that work in the field. To find the ones that survive the coating process and the storage and the handling, but become immediately effective after sowing. To find the ones that provide a benefit in most situations, but are still safe for the seed and the environment.